Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hi.
It's your president and your VP back once again with another video. This time, we're doing some Christmas reviews. Yay!
Woo! Yeah!
And as always, if you want to become a citizen of YouTube land, all you have to do is hit that subscription button below.
Hey, I'm wearing I'm wearing a Christmas color, so
I'm not. I'm doing black, so kind of blending in here a little bit. We're doing this a little bit late tonight, so don't quite have the natural
here,
light.
there's your white tee. So how about you take that off?
There we go.
All
That's
right.
a little better. More comfortable in the traditional white tee anyway, guys.
Yeah.
A little less suffocating. So today's episode is
The Polar Express.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks and who else?
Nona Gay.
Nona Gay. It was made for
$165 million.
It grossed
$265.3 million original release, while grossing with all releases $313.3 million.
based on a book by
The Polar Express itself, which is by Chris Van
Allsburg.
Allsburg. It's a German name, so I actually can't pronounce it that well.
It holds a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, which once again, guys, Rotten Tomatoes in this case kind of sucks because you can't always go by what they want.
I don't know the critics' consensus of the movie, but all I know is they're probably wrong, because this is actually just a nice, innocent family film that anybody and everybody can watch, because it's actually rated G. So
yeah, it's probably can be considered a modern Christmas classic at this point, don't you think?
yeah, it can, since it came out in like 2004. The movie did. Well, the book is like 35 years old.
Right.
This year, it's like 35 years old because it came out in 1985.
So let's not waste no time with this, and let's get down to the nitty gritty and talk about the plot.
Alright, so we open up the film with a 12-year-old boy laying in bed, and we have a narrator, which, by the way, none of the characters are named except for like 2 or 3 in the entire movie. It's a rare case, but nobody knows. No, it's not actually named who the kid's name is. So, for the majority of them, I'm just going to call him the main character, okay? Because he has no name. So the main character, he's sleeping in bed, and then he hears like sleigh bells outside, and so he goes downstairs to see if Santa has came, because he's a doubter. He doesn't believe in Santa. Not yet. So there's the common theme of him not believing in Santa, and that's the main theme of the movie. So he goes downstairs and see that the cookies haven't been eaten yet, or neither has the milk been drinking. And then he thinks he sees Santa, but really it's his parents and his little sister Sarah. She's one of the only named characters in the movie. So then he goes back upstairs, and he goes through like this little collection type thing he has, where it's like Santa is not real, the discovery of Santa is not real type stuff. And
Talks about the North Pole and how it's devoid of life, which, spoiler alert, for anybody who actually knows, the North Pole, while doesn't really have Santa Claus there. I know.
Hey, do not show this to like little children, okay? Shh. Shh.
But the North Pole does have life there. There's whales, polar bears, all kinds of things there. So
Yeah.
it's not devoid of life.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. So then he goes back to sleep and stuff, and the movie, both the book and the movie, kind of leave it out in the open if this is all a dream or not. It's very, vague, because they point to some evidence saying it is a dream, but then they make other evidence that it's not a dream, and there's just, again, it's just it's honestly your opinion if the whole movie's a dream or if it's actually happening, you know. So then, you know, he goes to sleep and then he wakes up from like this loud rattling outside, which, by the way, this movie has both quiet and loud moments. So then he hears the heater basically turn into a steam train engine. And so then the Polar Express is outside and all that. And, you know, he's looking at the magnificence of this train. And, oh.
It's just a text. Keep
Yeah,
going.
it's just a text. Sorry, guys. And so he's like looking at the magnificence of this train, and he reads the side of it. And it says the Polar Express, and then we get the introduction of the conductor. Again, he doesn't have his name. He doesn't have a name. That's actually just his name, the conductor, which is played by the legendary Tom Hanks.
Great film actor, by the way, and good voice actor in this point.
Yeah.
I would like to interject for a moment and acknowledge the fact that they basically use motion capture animation for this film.
Yeah, which it can actually turn some people off away from this film due to the fact that some people find the motion capture technology like very creepy. But compare this movie to Mars Needs Mom, and you can tell that they actually worked on this film to make it the best of the best.
Also, I can understand where people might find some elements of it to be implausible, but take your brain off for a moment, go back to when you were 6, 7 years old, and enjoy the film from that perspective.
Yeah. So, you know, we get the introduction of the conductor, who's played by Tom Hanks, and he's like, are you going to get on? And he's like, where's it going? And he's like, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express. Direct line from the movie, by the way. And he's like, and then he like pulls out a clipboard and says, "Is this you?" He's like, "Uh huh." He's like, doesn't believe in Santa Claus, you know, and lists all the things on why. He's like, and I think this is like your crucial year, so you need to get on. And so then he kind of like takes a step back. And he's like, all right, suit yourself, you know, and he like waves to the conductor, to the engineers and stuff. Again, it's great. I'm kind of like just, I really love this film. So afterwards, you know, he like waves them off, and so then it starts to go slowly, and so that's like when he takes the time to actually get on and do all this. And again, it's just an amazing film. It's also classified as a musical of some sorts, as you know, we have the main theme of the Polar Express, you know.
The hot chocolate song.
Yeah, the hot chocolate song, which may be one of the best songs ever.
The little know-it-all kid who constantly talks about the trains.
Again,
I really don't
name.
like that much.
The
He kind of turns me off, and he's a bit annoying. But the little black girl I really like, and I hate to say it like that, but hey, that's, since you don't know her name, how else are you going to identify her? I know in today's society with identity politics and all of this, but
in the movie, none of the characters have names. There's only three characters that are actually named. There's a little kid who gets on later named Billy, then there's the main character's sister, and then there's Santa Claus himself. Those are the only three named characters in the entire film. So you actually, and so the little African American girl, there's the politically correct term of it. So that's what I'm going to call her. Dad may call her the other way, but still, there's the politically correct term. But we've never said that we're politically correct on this channel either. I mean, back in our Dickie Roberts video, we even said that. So then he like gets on, you know, and then there's like the little nerdy kid that me and my dad both don't like at all. He talks about the train. He's like, don't you know this is a 1937 locomotive type thing, you know, model 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm obviously exaggerating because that's not exactly what he said.
And he talks with a real nasally accent, and it's probably like a stereotypical Jewish kid, actually. Now that I think about it, it's probably more along those lines.
I think that's what he was.
Except, Jewish kids tend to celebrate Hanukkah and not Christmas, so I don't know. But
I think it's just a normal like Urkel type voice.
Yeah, that could be one way of saying it.
To be honest, that's exactly what his like nasally type accent voice.
Like maybe his glasses kind of pinch his nose a bit, and that's what causes the voice.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, enough of that. And
then there's the Irish hobo who apparently kind of, sort of lives on top of the train.
He actually lives below the train because
there's probably a ghost.
Yeah. Because there's a line that he says where he's like, "Hey kid, do you believe in ghosts?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Well, you better start believing." And by the way, it's Tom Hanks trying to do an Irish accent,
which he fails at miserably.
He fails at it miserably because he plays as all the adult characters in the film. So he just fails at playing playing an Irish accent. But
I don't think he's voicing the engineers though.
No, that's him.
It is?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay.
He voices both of them, and you can even hear a little Forrest Gump coming out where he's like, "There's the light."
Awesome. Which we'll have to do Forrest Gump at some point.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that. So, yeah, and then they make another stop, and that's when the little kid named Billy, he kind of gets on, and he kind of sits in the back of the train by himself because he has no friends. And there's another theme that both the movie and the book talk about, which is friendship and how it's the most important Christmas gift that you can kind of get. So again, there's a lot of themes that both the book and the movie talk about, and I really love it about that. So then they kind of go onto the train, and then hot chocolate comes. The hot chocolate song comes.
A crazy song, but a good song.
A crazy song that's based off of one page of the Polar Express, the book. It's a picture, and it's the waiters it's the waiters. Some of them are doing flips, and then they have like this huge hot chocolate machine that's like spurting hot chocolate into the cups, and that's basically the whole. That's basically if you have the book, check that page out. And that's the exact page that the hot chocolate song is based off of, and then and then the main character loses the little African American girl's ticket by accident. By the way, I should put that in quotation marks. It was by accident. He didn't actually mean to.
Yeah, which is at this point when they're running around outside all over the place, and you don't see their breaths. And they're not shivering any, kind of makes you think that it's a bit of a dream.
Yeah, so that's one piece of evidence that makes it a dream. But then they kind of counteract it with another piece of evidence that says it's not a dream, because of the whole part where when after he meets the Irish ghost, that's what I'm going to call him, because again, he has no name. So I'm just going to call him the Irish ghost person. Or the failed Irish accent Tom Hanks character. So he stuffs his face into the snow. And he's like wake up, and he's not waking up. So again, that may be a reason. That's another piece of evidence on how they say that this may or may not be real.
So with incredibly well acted performances. And great visual effects.
Yeah.
And an overall good story and a good feel-good story.
Yeah,
it's well worth checking out.
Yeah, and even there's another song after a whole big climactic scene on the train where they go down the steepest downhill grade in the world, which
leads to an ice crack. At the end, when they kind of... Basically, if you know much about physics and you've ever seen a semi jackknife, that's basically what happens with the train.
Yeah. And so then what happens is afterwards, they go down and they go back to the main car, but then there's a little creepy moment scene where the main character encounters a puppet that's Ebenezer Scrooge. Actually, he's like, you're just like me. You're a Scrooge. You're a doubter. You know.
Yeah.
Again, it's Tom Hanks failing to do an Irish accent.
So, like I said, guys, if you haven't seen this one, check it out. Where do we find it at?
Specifically, we found it through Amazon. We specifically found it on Amazon Prime through AMC Plus.
Okay.
But if you just have like normal AMC, you can just find it through that as well. And you can also find it on Blu-ray and DVD.
Now, to kind of wrap this one up a bit, make it a little bit shorter than our usual ones here.
So then what happens next is, afterwards, there's nothing that really happens much in between then and the feel-good song, because there's a feel-good song near the end before they meet Santa Claus and stuff. And so then they have like this feel-good song and stuff, it's supposed to make you feel happy and special, and it's between Billy and the little African-American girl, and then the main character is kind of just in the back chilling out saying, hey, I'm still here, and so then they arrive at the North Pole, and then and then they try to like see what they're getting for Christmas and all that and stuff, and so then it leads to this big moment when the main character meets Santa Claus and he gets the first gift of Christmas, which is something that apparently happens every year in the movies universe. I should put that in quotation marks. It happens in the movies universe every year. And so then, he accidentally loses it. And then Santa Claus kind of brings it back at the end and says, hey, you should get that coat pocket fixed because you left this on my sleigh. And so basically ends with a narration from the main character, adult main character, where he says that my sister one day found out that she couldn't hear the bell because you can only hear the bell if you believe, and if you believe in Santa Claus. And then he says, and for most of my friends, and then soon for all of them, they also couldn't hear the bell, but it always rings for me. That's how the movie ends, is with that narration right there. So, I really love this movie. I gotta praise it for its animation, because the motion capture technology is actually pretty top notch for 2004.
Yeah.
I gotta praise it for the soundtrack. The soundtrack is awesome. I gotta praise it for the voice acting, because the voice actors and actresses that worked on this film did a really good job, especially Tom Hanks, where he played the conductor, the two engineers, the Irish ghost, and Santa Claus himself, and some elves, just to throw things in there for you. So again, I gotta praise that. I have to give it a 5 out of 5, because it's just super awesome, and I find a lot of great things about this film. What say you, Dad?
I give it 4.75 out of 5.
So 4 3/4.
Yeah. So for a total of 4 7/8 out of 5. The reason being for me is that you can get a little off-put by some of the more creepier elements, and the glasses kid annoyed me a bit. I'm sorry.
I'm
gonna knock it down a little bit for that.
You know what? I might just change it to a 4.9 out of 5, because
don't make me do that kind of mental math.
Alright, I'll keep it a 5 out of 5, but just saying that in my own personal mind, I'm probably just going to keep it a 5 out of 5, even though the glasses kid did annoy me.
So, of course, as always, if you think that The Polar Express is the absolute worst Christmas film that has ever been made, and no one should ever see it, well, that's your opinion. And you're wrong, but it's your opinion. Wrong. Just remember this, guys. We're two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, with that having been said and out of the way with our outro here, that's pretty long. Peace and love from Denny and Son. And hey, tune in next time where we're going to be doing the season 4 review of Boy Meets World. Gonna finally get that one out of the way.
Which is coming like literally in like 2 seconds after I upload this video, because I'm just gonna go take the lamp from my room, Dad, and just.
And tune in tomorrow, where we're going to do a very controversial one. It's a little bit controversial in this time and age, but it does kind of count as a Christmas movie.
What is it?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Dad.
A classic film.
Well, Dad, I want to read the book first before we do that.
Okay, I guess we'll hold off on that one. I've been watching the film and I really wanted to do the video, but we'll hold off on it and we'll think of something else to do.
How about we just start our first episode of Wholesember tomorrow?
Okay, we'll do a Hallmark movie for you guys tomorrow. Will it be any good?
Holiday in Handcuffs. You're welcome. You're welcome, Dad.
No, we can't steal from the Nostalgia Critic.
Well, we can easily just watch it on Hulu. So.
All we gotta do is just watch any Hallmark movie.
Fine.
But having said that one out of the way,
fine.
Guys, tune in tomorrow and we'll be doing a new Hallmark movie for the first
episode out of 4
of Wholesember.
Of Wholesember.
A mini-series, if you will.
Yeah.
So, peace and love from Denny and Son, and see you guys next time.
Bye.
In just a couple of minutes for Boy Meets World Season